Hey, it's me again, Long Rider. I know that I haven't done a video for a while since the 2048 presidential address, which, well, flopped like an impotent pancake. Sorry for boring you guys to death with that, and sorry for not doing a video in so long. The real reason is I haven't been playing. And I haven't been playing because I've been focusing on Snag so much. Developing a game takes an incredible amount of time and effort. And it's still not even done, though I've come a long ways. Instead of just those geometric figures, with a plus sign crosshairs chasing around boxes that fall from the top, I've got it to the point where you can actually load a skin and make it look like something else. Like, say, a leather pouch chasing pieces of treasure around a ship's hold. So now it can load skins, but a program to actually make those skins, I'm still working on that. Believe it or not, I tried a couple of times to start recording voiceovers for a Cataclysm video. But the dialogue just kept falling apart. I kept finding myself not really motivated to finish, or even to get far after a start. Then it dawned on me. Because I hadn't played the game in so long, I was no longer into it. Doing Does Blizzard Really Hate Paladins was really easy, because I was so into it. I never lacked motivation to do it. So I figured I had to do some instance runs, and get to playing some more if I was going to get into the game, and actually do a Cataclysm video. Unfortunately, I have two computers and they're both kind of old. There's one that I had custom made all the way back in 2002. It had a GeForce 4 graphics accelerator card, which was good at the time, but, well, it's not so good now. The other computer was a laptop, which I bought specifically so that I'd be able to play World of Warcraft on it. A Dell Inspiron E1505 with a GeForce Go 7300. That computer is falling apart both physically and softwarily. And while the Dell is much newer, it's much more prone to crashing, especially in places like Dalaran. If you want to do things like heroic instances and the daily quests for them, you have to go into Dalaran, unfortunately. Of course, once I'm actually in an instance, then it's not so bad. So I did a few instances as much as I could, which really wasn't that much. After putting up with this for a little while, my thought was, okay, Cataclysm is probably going to be worth $50 for the expansion pack, but I don't think it's going to be worth the hundreds of dollars I'd have to spend on getting a new computer. But I kept playing, and I kept playing, and I kept putting up with the crashes, to the point where I just plain bit the bullet and sunk about $200 into getting some more memory and a new graphics card for my old computer to get it up to speed. I guess it was about time anyways. And now I can actually make it into Dalaran without my computer crashing. This is amazing. Taking this into account, I'm back in the game alright. I'd also like to add that Blizzard has created a frickin' monster. If they can get me to do something like this, I mean, wow. Just wow. Anyways, enough about my financial irresponsibility. Let's get to Cataclysm. The first thing that went through my mind when I realized they were doing another expansion for World of Warcraft is, oh no, they're going to hit us with more gay armor sets. I mean, they do not have the best track record when it comes to armor sets, now do they? I mean, take a look at Aegis armor. What does the helm say? It says, I've never heard of blows that come to the head from the side. Please feel free to enlighten me with a truncheon. And the female model of this is even worse. I mean, what were they thinking? Even more horrific than that was something else that occurred to me. Since they're going to be making heroic instances out of all the old instances, well, maybe not all of them, but some of them, then wouldn't that be a perfect opportunity for them to rehash Lawbringer and Judgment armor? There's plenty of improvement with Lawbringer armor, but Judgment armor, not much room for improvement there. Imagine the horrors that could happen if they recolored Judgment armor. What if they decided to give it Crystal Forge colors? I tell you one thing, the minute that happens, the Burning Legion wins. Still, considering that Tier 9 and Tier 10 look okay, it's quite possible that things will get better for Paladins rather than worse. That's actually been the trend ever since the Burning Crusade came out, and probably since a little before then too. As you probably guessed, I've already got a series of changes in mind which I'd like to see, and considering that every class is going to get a massive overhaul, what with the mastery system coming into play, there's actually a pretty good chance that these improvements will happen. First and foremost, when it comes to doing damage, Paladins are limited by cooldowns, not so much by mana. This really doesn't feel like a very fun approach. If you spec into Retribution, you have only about 3 buttons that you can click that actually do damage. Stuff like Exorcism and Hammer of Wrath are really too situational to count. So what do you do when none of these 3 buttons is actually available? Nothing. It's pretty sad. True as it may be that paladins do respectable DPS in raids, and as good as it is that Blizzard is actually trying to work to that end, the current implementation really isn't that fun. It would be much better if paladins were somehow a mana-limited class rather than a cooldown-limited class. Admittedly, that would make us look a lot more like rogues or warriors. Each of those classes has a large array of clickable buttons that do damage. Paladins not so much, and while I know that a paladin isn't a warrior and isn't a rogue and shouldn't be, I still think that paladins could be given a large array of clickable buttons without breaking them or turning them into another class. And another thing that kind of pisses me off, Judgments of the Wise. As a talent, it continues to give paladins the mana that they need to keep DPSing, and this is good. What isn't good about it, though, is that it's an all-or-nothing talent. Either you spec deeply into Retribution and get those 3 talent points in there so that you can keep DPSing, or you don't, and you can't keep DPSing. It's all or nothing. All or nothing doesn't seem like a very hybrid-ish approach, and paladins, as I've always said, are a hybrid class. Furthermore, the fact that Blizzard isn't adding more tiers to the talent trees means that they want to allow classes to become more hybrid-ish. Perfect opportunity to do that would be to use the mastery system to give us our mana back instead of this one talent. Imagine if one of the masteries for Retribution was some passive mana regeneration that was always going, and paladins had the option of spending it on a number of on-demand damage abilities, like say Holy Strike and Crusader Strike. You remember from back before when beta? This would make paladins start to look a little bit like rogues, or like the way hunters are going to look when they get focus in Cataclysm. But when you get down to it, that's not a bad thing. And there are undoubtedly ways that it's possible to make this balanced. Of course, changing paladins from a cooldown limited class to a mana limited class would be an incredibly massive overhaul, even more massive than the overhaul they gave us in Wrath of the Lich King. It may well involve replacing our seals with melee strikes, or dropping large quantities of our talented abilities down to trainable abilities, or both. And Blizzard has unfortunately been very slow to drop talented abilities down to trainable abilities. In fact, Blizzard has been slow to take massive overhauls on in general. Because of Blizzard's inertia, it seems more likely to me that what's going to happen is they'll just give us one new clickable button with either no cooldown or a relatively short one, and that'll be it. Now, make no mistake, that's going to be a big step in the right direction. Shield of Righteousness was a big step in the right direction too, simply because it was a trainable ability that dealt damage and was on a short cooldown. One more ability to help fill in the gaps will be good, but, to be honest, I think that solution falls short. Historically, Retribution has had 2 major problems. A lack of interesting combat. You don't decide what to click unless it's to heal or cleanse or something. The cooldowns decide what you click for you. And the other problem is that they're too bursty. Having very few clickable buttons means that a lot of damage has to be crammed into each of those buttons in order for paladins to be viable on the whole. Well, okay, we don't have snares and it's hard to catch up to people, but I think that was designed to be one of the paladin's weaknesses. But anyhow, adding just one more clickable button really isn't going to do much for those 2 problems. Unless, of course, that new button did something really interesting, like racking up combo points or creating a soul shard or something along those lines that was paladin-ish. To be honest, that doesn't seem particularly likely. So just one new ability doesn't seem like it'll do it. On the other hand, overhauling paladins to give them a large array of clickable buttons would solve these problems. You'd have to decide, okay, do I use this ability right now, or do I use this other one? Well, I'll admit that paladins won't be hopelessly broken if Blizzard decides not to give paladins a large array of clickable buttons. They'd still be viable as DPS and viable in PvP, but an overhaul like this would go a long ways to making the class more balanced, and, probably most importantly, it would make the class more fun. And as per usual, it seems that I've written a little bit too long. I'm going to have to split this reaction video up into 2 videos.